Welcome back, family, to another episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. I'm your girl, Cori, and today we're going to be digging deep into a topic that is as rich as the flavors on your grandma's Sunday table. The history of soul food and its roots in slavery. So if you love you some good old fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and black-eyed peas, all of them together, please and thank you. You need to know the history behind these dishes and how our ancestors made magic out of struggle. But before you grab a plate, let's give our 30 seconds of gratitude. Today, I am so grateful for food, whole healthy foods, my deep-rooted Southern foods, all foods, and access to these foods. Our ancestors did not always have access to it. They were given scraps to make something out of nothing. And I am grateful that while things may be a struggle right now because the grocery prices are out of control, but I am grateful that I have the resources in order to provide and in order to sustain myself and my family. Now that might have been more than 30 seconds. But again, y'all, we are shifting vibrations, changing our outcomes, and welcoming in abundance regardless of the situations. Now, let's get into the origins of soul food. Soul food traces back to West Africa, where our ancestors thrived on nutrient-dense foods like rice, millet, yams, and okra. Enslaved Africans were forced to adapt their cooking traditions with scraps and rations that they were given. Cornmeal, offcuts of meat like pig feet and chitlins, which is, never mind, I'm not going to describe what that is, and beans. And despite the horrific conditions, they turned these ingredients into something nourishing, creating the foundation of what we now call soul food. Now let's get into a few hidden stories behind some of our favorite dishes. Black-eyed peas. They were brought from West Africa, and these were a staple on plantations, and they became a symbol of luck and resilience. I don't know about y'all, but out of superstition, I guess. Probably more like ritual. Every New Year's Day, that is the meal of choice. Fried chicken, black-eyed peas, cornbread, and collard greens. That's what we do every year. How about you? I don't know if you ever heard of that, but yeah, that's what we do. Greens, collards, mustard, turnip. Those three specifically. They're cooked slowly with smoked meat. I use smoked turkey with mine when I make mine. And I make it in my Instapot. I'm using a cheat code, y'all, because the way my grandmother used to make it, it was an all-day process. But, you know, all these new appliances, they give you a little cheat code. But they echo the one-pot cooking style of Africa and represent wealth and prosperity. Cornbread. A survival food made from cornmeal since wheat flour was scarce for enslaved people. And I can remember as a little girl watching my grandmother make cornbread from scratch with her hands, mixing up that cornmeal. It was fascinating to watch. Now, I never learned to make cornbread from scratch, but before my grandmother passed, I did get a bunch of her recipes from her. So I'm going to have to go back and check my recipe book and see if she left me her from scratch cornbread recipe, because y'all, that was some good cornbread. Okay, anyway, I'm starting to get hungry, y'all. I am a complete foodie. Let's talk about fried chicken. It is a dish that Black folks have perfected, making it crispy and flavorful with seasonings from African and Southern influences. Y'all, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but my fried chicken is legendary. Thanks, Grandma. Soul food's role in the Black resistance and the Black community has always been strong, because it was more than just survival. It was a way to preserve culture and resist oppression, for us to have something that was ours. Enslaved people would gather to cook and eat together, reclaiming these small little pockets of joy and community. And after slavery, soul food remained a pillar of Black households, carrying traditions forward despite economic hardships. Like those dishes, they feel good to the soul. They feel so good to the soul. And during the civil rights movement, activists would gather in soul food kitchens to strategize, break bread, and build community, much like what I am witnessing today in 2025. And it is a beautiful thing to witness. Today, soul food is evolving, though, to honor tradition and to prioritize health. You know, there are some swaps we can make, still having that same delicious flavor, just swapping out a couple of ingredients so that it can be a little bit healthier for us. More people are bringing back plant-based soul foods like sweet potatoes, okra, and greens, leaning into our African roots and eating fresh, whole foods. We discuss ways to enjoy soul food in a balanced way while honoring our ancestral wisdom. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I am going to put an episode out where I talk about some of the swaps that I make in my soul food. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you never know the difference. My kids don't know the difference. And I have some picky teenagers, a house full of them. Okay, y'all. And if they don't know the difference, yeah. There's also a show on Netflix. There are 2 seasons of it, and it's called High on the Hog, How African American Cuisine Transformed America. It is definitely a deeper dive into what I am discussing here. Watch it. It's an amazing series, and we are talking about soul food, its roots, and how it's transformed and changed and grown over the years. Family, soul food is a story of resilience, culture, and love. It's not just food, it's history on a plate. So the next time you take a bite of that mac and cheese or sip some collard green pocater, remember the legacy behind it. If you love this episode and you want to support the show, you can do that right on over on Buy Me a Coffee. It keeps the podcast going and it lets me bring you more content that feeds the mind and the soul. The link for it will be in the show notes. Now, tell me, what's your favorite soul food dish? Y'all, I have so many I couldn't even... look. I told y'all I'm a total foodie, so I have so many that, and over the years I've perfected them, and they've gotten so much better and better and better. And so I have so many favorites, but if just a few: fried chicken, sweet potato pie, y'all, banana pudding, y'all, collard greens, listen, cornbread, black eyed peas, pinto beans. Y'all, I could go on and on and on. And again, right now I'm making myself hungry, so I need to stop. But let's talk about it. Drop it in the comments. I would love to know. Share this episode. Hit me up on social media. Let me know. And as always, stay nourished. Body, mind, and soul. Subscribe, share, and support. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, family.